morning, everybody, and welcome to the Reverend Guitar Circle our Ranch. I'm your host, Ken, and here I am with the Reverend Crosscut hardtail in Redburst. What happened to the trem? Went bye-bye. It may come back someday. I don't know. Hard to say. But boy, we were offered this Redburst color in that W version, and it was... The Redburst hasn't been an oddity over the years, hasn't it, LG?
Yeah, something
Truly.
that just works on.
Yeah, boy, yeah. We've put it out there, and if you... This particular model, it is very much struck a chord with. See what I did there?
People from space sell you.
Yeah, right. But this is shipping now, and it's very, very exciting. And we've had a lot of artist interest in this, which is great. And a lot of friend interest, too. I know I just shipped one to my buddy Brian in Philadelphia. If he's not baking cookies right now, hopefully he's checking in, and I hope you are enjoying yours, my friend. And yeah, they're heading out all over. So this is the Reverend Crosscut, and it is on the ever-popular Charger platform, as it were. And it features railhammer clean-cut pickups. And Joe and I kind of felt that the clean cuts were getting, just not represented enough, not in our line, but of course not in general.
Right.
And having it sort of on a traditional platform in the, T-style bridge plate brings out that sort of brightness that they can achieve. I can turn off the carbon copy. That's the bridge pickup with the controls wide open. Both pickups. Neck pickup. So much low. Just a nice full fat. A little tighter on the bottom end than the Retro Blast. And then still a little skronky on that top end. Skronky, that's
Skronky.
Yeah, that was in that meme that you sent me.
Yeah.
A unique property of the clean cut pickups to my ears. So we're in a humbucker platform, right? So there's two full coils underneath of this cover. And what we've done in order to, ready Mernon, here, this one's for you. In order to get that bright tone, we left both coils underneath of the cover, but we removed the blade from one of the coils and the pull pieces from the other coils. Take a smaller slice of the magnetic field that's created by the string in order to have that bright sound, right? Like a single coil, but noiseless. And so copious amounts of gain. It's noiseless. That's that Rev G3 pedal, which is like the... But it doesn't sound unlike a single coil still, right? It's still got that sort of glassy top end to it. I often find that single coils react... Sorry, I was doing some crazy bending on these new strings when I sat down. I find that single coils react a little bit better to fuzz pedals, while humbuckers react a little bit better to distortion and overdrive. There's a little asterisk next to that. That is, of course, my opinion, and based on how I play and through the amplifiers that I use. Here is that bridge pickup again, clean. Let's put a little tube screamer on it. And then a favorite of the Reverend shop, of course, the Wonder Red Rider fuzz pedal. Ready? That's a lot of gain, and as you can hear, the noise floor is low. And even on the neck pickup with that much gain, the bottom end is tight. So much to unpack with the Reverend Crosscut in Red Burst.
Woohoo.
LG.
Yes.
Speaking of Red Burst,
Yes.
what do we got?
What
What do we got? Anybody care?
Oh, people care. People like it. People have one and they say they love theirs. Brent Cormier says this.
Yes, sir.
I love your cuts across the board. Very cool styling and finishes. Obviously, there are tone tools as well. I dabble in guitar design and sales and appreciate the boldness.
Well, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it. We appreciate that. That's what we're trying to do.
Right.
You know, we're trying to. One of the things another one of my favorite quotes is quoting myself. Is that weird?
A little weird.
So that's not one of my favorites. One of my favorite sayings, I think, is what I meant to say.
Is it?
Yes. Another one of my favorite sayings is that here at Reverend Guitars, we are not held down by the weight of our own legacy. We can throw out colors and cool stuff and hopefully not have to worry about people saying, but that's not how you did it in the 50s. We're right, we weren't around in the 50s. This is how we do it now. That's what we're thinking about, is doing stuff now. So the sort of unusual pickup configurations and designs and things that we float out there are based on the feedback that we get from you, and they're also based on all of us in the building going out and playing live and doing stuff. And this sort of low output humbucker thing, I don't want to just graze over that again. I want to talk about that because a lot of people, and I think this is not a thing with the younger crowd, but this is a thing with the older crowd, where they really feel that you have to have, you know, a certain output in the pickups in order to drive your pedals and your amps and stuff. And so everybody just wants the hottest thing that they can get their hands on, you know, 81s or Invaders or the, you know, with the rail hammer, the anvil and stuff. And those are great. And depending on what you're doing and what kind of amp that you're playing through, there is definitely a place for that high output stuff. The anvil is the second best selling rail hammer pickup, you know, individual pickup. Yeah. There's definitely a thing for that. I'm sitting here looking at this beautiful Bob Balch Rolla pickup. Rolla amplifier, excuse me, good Lord. Bob's signature Rolla amp is killer. And boy, when you put in, it's sort of, it's got sort of traditional style Marshall inputs, as it were, like 70s style things. And it, you know, it does do gain, but it's not a high gain amplifier. So hot pickups sound great in that, or in the high watt or whatever. However, modern amplifiers are made with a overwhelming amount of gain. And pedals like this Rev G3, I mean, I only have, let's see, I have the gain on this pedal at about between 1/2 and 2/3. And I mean, it's ripping, you know, even with these low output pickups. So when you use guitars that have lower output pickups, there's more to play with. That you have more control over your amp and your pedals and things of that nature. It's just another tool that you can throw into your tool belt. And then another thing that I wanted to point out about these pickups is something that's been brought up to me by my son this week. My son is a very modern player, and he plays a lot of fingerstyle with a lot of tapping and a lot of rhythmic tapping. And a couple guys in my office excel at this in their bands as well. And a lot of people that play in that style, like Yvette Young,
Yes.
play with single coils,
Mm-hmm.
and they do that for that sort of clean thing. Plus the fact that they're not always muting strings with all of their hands, but you get that really, really chimey, percussive, clean sound with single coils when you're playing in that sort of rhythmic style. And these clean cut pickups do that incredibly well, and they do it noiselessly. I mean, you really, there's a thing here, you know, and it's one of the things that I am really trying to get the word out about. Like if players that play in that style would just, anybody that does that, has tried these pickups, has instantly fallen in love with them. I would love to give you a demonstration, but that is just not in my wheelhouse. But maybe we could have somebody on here that does do that.
Maybe we can.
Oh, that would be cool. Really, really cool. Really cool.
Mm-hmm.
She's looking at me like I'm crazy.
I
Because
mean,
I
I
just
always
got
look
lost.
at you like you're
I'm
crazy.
just thinking like, well, I like guitars. What else you got for me, LG?
Let's see. Kevin's Lentz says,
Like it.
how come you guys haven't done a P90 bridge and single middle and a humbucker neck? I don't know if he means like a reverse HSS, like an
Kind of,
SSH,
yeah. That's
or like
sort
a
of where he's going.
PSH.
My friend, that is a little nichey. I mean, I like the thought of it, and I could see where it would come in handy. You know, like a SSH, as it were. And that's very cool. I did a guitar once with the humbucker in the bridge, a single coil in the middle, and a lipstick at the neck, which was pretty neat. It did a lot of different things. But when it comes to like marketing and selling guitars, the more nichey it gets, the less it appeals in general to the public. And we still, of course, have to sell the dealers. That's just not what we do. Yeah, we do get a little bit funky, and it's cool. But boy, that one, I don't know, maybe. Never say never. We never say never around here, do we, LG?
I just thought it was
Again, I
interesting.
can kind of see the place for it because it's interesting, but that isn't anything that we really have on the drawing board just yet.
Right.
And we recognize, of course, that we can't do everything.
Right.
So,
Chris says he just got a new Eastsider S.
dope.
Wants to know if it's possible to swap the string tree with a triple tree.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll drop right on there. Mr. Anderson prefers the bent wire style tree. Not unlike Greg, he does bending behind the nut on the G string and is used to that G string being a big open expansive string behind the nut. And so he prefers that we, put
More
that. Plus,
classic.
I think with Pete too, I think Pete just likes the look of certain things, vintage things, like he's
Right.
used to seeing it a certain way, and so that's sort of how he wants to see it.
Right.
But yes, a triple tree will drop right on there, and we've got them in the store. Absolutely.
You have one on yours, don't you?
I do have triple trees on my Eastsiders.
Yeah.
Yes. I have 3 Eastsiders that I perform with regularly, and I have triple trees on all 3 of them.
Right.
Good point, LG.
So you know how easy it is.
If I can do it.
This is what I'm saying.
Right. Far out. Totes my goats.
Peter says he loves his 3 Reverends so far. He feels like there's been a lot of rosewood fretboards lately. Will there be more maple board combos coming?
Always. There's always stuff coming. We didn't have rosewood available to us for a very, very long time.
Right.
But we basically just popped over, we just replaced all the Pal Faro stuff with rosewood. And then usually when we add colors, we try to sort of mix it up. So if we've been doing, you know, an
Right.
Alpine double agent with a maple board for the last 3 years. We'll switch it over to rosewood, and then after a little while, we'll go back with the, you know, color combinations or whatever. But we try to move the stuff around and keep everybody happy.
And
We have a lot of new colors coming at the end of the year.
And we usually try to keep it about 50-50
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
overall.
Overall.
So, but look for that later. Nick says he's pondering getting the clean cuts installed in a roundhouse. What kind of tonal differences, if any, would someone find between the bolt-on neck of the model that you're demoing and a set neck roundhouse?
I like to say that to my ear, and again, this is all with the little asterisk, because this is me speaking. But to me, the bolt-on guitar emphasizes the upper mids, and the set neck guitar sort of emphasizes the lower mids. So I think you will find the clean cut pickups in the roundhouse. The guitar is a little fatter sounding than this. It has a little bit more of that sort of low end girth, you know. But it is going to brighten up the guitar a tad. The clean cuts are, again, just by the nature of taking the smaller slice of the magnetic field created by the strings, it's going to make it a little bit brighter. But it won't be as bright as this one. That's the easiest way to. It's some of those tonal difference things. I laugh so hard when I see people with their descriptions online, you know,
Right.
for what it is, because it's really, there are so many other variables that it depends on.
Right.
But in general, I think you will find, Naylor likes to say that the bolt-on necks are 10% brighter. There you have it.
Okay, I have a follow-up question,
Okay.
and this is from me.
Okay.
If it's a roundhouse, and it's got the carved top,
Yes.
does the carved top
Excuse me.
make a difference to the tone?
The roundhouse is going to be a little bit brighter than the contender.
Okay. And is that going to
In-
even out
in-
some of the set neck-ness?
No.
Okay.
Excuse me. Sorry.
You want some water?
I swallowed coffee wrong. I'm fine. No, I don't think so. So the maple top on the roundhouse basically just fills out the EQ curve. So when you're looking at a contender with just sort of a slab body, even the slab Carina body or a slab mahogany body, if you were looking at a junior or something, you are really that guitar puts more emphasis on that lower mid-range spike. And then once you add the maple top, what you do is you add a little bit of brightness, a little more top end to it. But you didn't take away any of the emphasis on the lower mid-range spike. You just added some sparkle.
Okay.
In my
Understood.
opinion. Why is Penny asking me the hard questions today, folks?
That's my job.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that's marriage. Congratulations. Pat wants to know if we've ever thought about a 7-string Reverend.
Well, Pat, good question. I mean, it's quite. I get this question quite a bit on both the Reverend front and the rail hammer front, and at the moment, we don't have any plans to do that. While it's kind of a niche market, and it was more popular a few years ago than it is now, just based on industry sales. But that's not the only reason why we make decisions to do things, of course. But it's just not our thing. Like, our sort of vintage meets modern thing doesn't draw from the 7-string thing in any way, and I just don't see it fitting in well with the things that we are currently doing, to be honest with you. As far as the railhammer pickups are concerned, we would like to address that very soon. What's holding us back on railhammer at the moment, and it's not really holding us back, it's just sort of a bandwidth thing, like we can only do so many things at once. But all of like when somebody is winding humbuckers, there are certain pieces that they can just buy in bulk, bobbins and things of that nature, because the specs of some of the parts are largely unchanged across the industry.
Standard.
Standard, yes. With the rail hammers, The base plates and the bobbins are totally custom made to hold the blade and the pole pieces at the same time. And so we actually have to manufacture molds to make all of the parts to make 7-string pickups. And then just as we were ramping up to sort of do that, then the 7-string and 8-string pickup business with companies making custom pickups that have sort of where the pickups are slanted and the fan fret guitars and the coils are slanted at different angles and things, all of a sudden it got very complicated to address. And we just kind of froze. and we're kind of waiting to see where that market goes before we launch it out. While a 7-string version of the bayonet or something like that would be very cool, we have so many ideas on the 6-string realm that we haven't realized,
right,
and things that we need to get done first that the conversation just sort of keeps getting pushed back, and for that, I apologize. And again, I will just say never. You never know. But there is your honest answer, my friend.
Premier Guitar this month did a roundup of 7-string
Dope.
guitars. So, I mean, I don't know that they're going away anytime soon.
No, I don't think that they're going away. I don't think they're ever going to go away. I mean, it's certainly an established niche market.
Yeah.
It's just that when I look at it, I see the players in that market are very specific, like
That's
people, and it's really what they do, and it's never really been what we do. So we really have to, come at it with, how Naylor is, right? Like when we, like when we did the 12-string and when we did the baritone and stuff, we came at them looking at it as a completely new product as opposed to just adding on to what we do. So if we were to get into that market, I would imagine the approach would be similar. We wouldn't just say, okay, here's a 7-string charger. I mean, I think that there would be more to it than that, and it's just not something that we've assigned the bandwidth to doing as of yet.
Right.
Yep. Whereas, of course, ESP and Ibanez and the people that do that stuff really well have assigned that bandwidth to those products,
And then he followed that up with, I totally get it. Every time I see the new Billy Corgan, I can totally see it being a 7-string, which I kind of can see too. The 7 market needs less pointy guitars and more classy, refined guitars, in my opinion.
Now, you see, my brother, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. And you know what? We know what everybody forgets is that, Steve Vai and Korn didn't start the 7-string market. It was started by jazzers a long time ago.
Right.
And so, I can totally appreciate where you're coming from with that, my friend. And I'm not saying that I don't like me some pointy guitars, because y'all know I do.
You do. You like some ridiculous guitars.
Why am I take so much flack around here simply because I own a Jackson Roswell. And that is what, and everybody around here. And this is Star Trek lady who is picking on me about the Roswell.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And I know it's not one of the cool aluminum ones either. And believe me, one day. The aluminum one is where it's at. Okay, but I have the super dope blue sparkle Japanese made one, which is also very cool.
But it's hardly an outlier. I know what your guitar collection is, at least I know.
But that and the Katana are the pointy ones.
Right.
I mean, I guess the RGs have the sort of pointy things, but.
Yeah, but you have some like neon pink and weird stuff like that too.
Whatever, dude.
Your inner 80s metalhead is in there. I see you.
It's true.
Peter says, similar to the 7-string question, what are your thoughts about a 24-inch bolt-on neck, Reverend?
Yeah, it's a very, very similar answer. It's just, it's not anything that's really fallen into our wheelhouse. That's not in Naylor's design aesthetic. So we haven't really approached it, and there are so many people that do that so well. On the opposite end of that same question, I often get asked about something that would compete head-to-head with like the Mustang or the Music Master, like a short scale bolt-on, kind of a thing. And while I think that would be cool, that is a niche market for that brand. You know what I mean? And then for us to kind of go into that, I don't know if it makes sense. And again, I never say never. I mean, I told Liz Fair that I would make her a signature model. So that's how that happens. You get Liz Fair to say yes, and then that's how the Mustang scale guitar happens in our brand.
I think she's married to her Mustang, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I just felt like bringing her up, I guess.
Yeah.
We were talking about Corgan and
Right, I know.
whatever.
That's
Anyway, yeah, I never, like I said, never say never, but I don't really see that as being in our sort of wheelhouse. And watch this. Ready? IE. There it is. That's why 22 frets instead of 20 or 21. So you can grab that bad boy.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hal Face wants to know if a hum cutter would fit in a Revtron route.
It will not. The hum cutter is the size of a full-size humbucker. So any PAF style humbucker. So anywhere where there's a PAF style humbucker, it will fit. If you're looking at putting a clean cut in your Tele Custom, I strongly recommend it. However, you will need to buy a new pickguard that is cut for a traditional humbucker and not the MFD fender style pickup, because those are mounted funny into those pickguards. I get that question a lot. That's why I brought that up as well. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that wraps up the questions.
Well, listen, everybody. We just wanted to bounce on this week because we're not going to be in next week. And when I saw these beautiful red burst hardtails shipping, I thought, well, I can show that off a little bit.
Right.
But we have so many exciting things coming up and so many exciting things that are going on around here that I thought it was worth jumping in this week real quick. So before I let you go, Penny and I are heading over to Korea to visit with Mir Music, which is great, and do some other business over there, which is pretty cool. So we will not be here next week. I will be back in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, I will be joined by the lovely Via Murdo, which is really, really cool. And if you guys aren't following her, you should follow her on your Instagrams, VIAMARDOT. She makes these beautiful original compositions.
She's a multi-instrumentalist.
Multi-instrumentalist. And she uses a Reverend Descent baritone and also a Mike Watt. Watt Power Mark II in Root Beer Sparkle, which she just did a couple weeks worth of dates with the Surfragettes and playing the Mike Watt bass. And so we're going to have her in here and talk to her about what it's like to be a Reverend artist, and we're going to do a little jamming and whatnot. And then in 3 weeks, we're going to have a local player, Miss Megan Leslie from Amelia Earhart's, and from the Toledo School for the Arts, where she's a teacher and instructor. She's also a wicked player, and she's been using a King Bolt for a couple of years now.
If you guys are from around here, you've seen the Amelia Earharts. They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere, and they're great. Yeah, for sure. And so we're looking forward to having her. I'm trying to spice it up a little bit. And then on the 19th of next month, don't forget, Polka Floyd Show is playing with the Cock Marshall Trio at the Magic Bag in Ferndale. And that's in August. We'll have time to talk about that before then. But until next time, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. And Penny and I will see you in a couple weeks when we return. Here's my little Tragically Hip-esque. Love it. I should play with a pick.